In this video, we're going to take a look at two new graphs called frequency tables and histograms. And when we talk about a frequency table, that comes from the word frequency, which means how often something happens. So with what frequency do you come to school? With what frequency do you have a birthday? How often does it happen? And a histogram is a special type of graph that we're going to create. So below we have temperatures from Fairfax in the winter of 2018. And we're going to start by creating our frequency table. So over here I have intervals. You'll notice they're all the same width. So there's a 1 unit gap, 1 unit gap, 1 unit gap, 1 unit gap. And I'm going to look at my data and see which values fall in which intervals. So I have 8, that goes from 7 to 8. I'm going to cross it out so we know we used it. 12 goes from 11 to 12. 11 goes from 11 to 12. 9 goes from 9 to 10. And again we have 9. Then we have 12, 10, 14, 13 and 13 to 14, and 12. So we're just looking to see where the numbers fall and filling in those tallies. Then we can count up our tallies to see the frequency of each interval. So here we have 1, 3, 4, and 2. When we see the word cumulative, this means all together. Like your cumulative grade is the one you get at the end of the year after we average all of your quarters. So here we start with 1. This is the only thing we've gotten so far. Then we add 3 to 1 and we get 4. So as of right now our cumulative frequency is 4. Then we add 4 and we're at 8. We add 2 and we're at 10. So our total cumulative frequency is 10. And if we count these up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, we'll see that we had 10 data points. So those should match. Now we're going to create our histogram. So if you look along the x-axis, you can see that we have our intervals. This is where we're going to draw bars to represent the frequency. So from an interval of 7 to 8, I have a frequency of 1, which means I'm going to draw a bar that's 1 unit tall. From 9 to 10, I have a frequency of 3, so I'm going to draw a bar that's 3 units tall. Notice how I make my bar directly next to the other one. There's no gaps like a bar graph. From 11 to 12, we have a frequency of 4, so we're going to fill that in. And I just label these so we know the height. And then from 13 to 14, we have a frequency of 2. So that bar is going to be 2 units tall. Again, the most important part of the histogram is that there are no spaces between the bars. All right, we can use a stem and leaf plot to create our frequency table as well. Remember that a stem and leaf plot has stems and leaves. And the key tells us how to read it. So 6 line 1 means 61. So in this case, 6 line 2 would be 62. This would be 64, 65, 67, 80, 82, we keep going. So we want to figure out how many numbers we have in each interval. Our first interval is 60 to 64, so that would cut off at 64 here, and we have 1, 2 data values there. 65 to 69 would cut off here, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 values. 70 to 74, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 values again. 75 to 79, there are 4 there. And 80 to 84, we have 2. Now we're going to fill in our cumulative frequency. So we start with 2, we add 6, we get 8, add 6 again, we have 14, add 4 to that, we have 18, and add 2 to that, we have 20. If I look at the stem and leaf plot and count the leaves, I should get 20. So we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So we know we did that correctly. Now I'm going to make my histogram. The first thing I need is my title. So this was high temperatures during the spring of 2018. So I'm going to call this Spring 2018 High Temps. All right. The next thing we're going to do is take our intervals and put them along the x-axis. So we have 60 to 64, 65 to 69, 70 to 74, 75 to 79, and 80 to 84. And these are going to be our temperatures. Then we need to look at our frequencies and see how high our y-axis needs to go. I have numbers 2 through 6, so I'm going to label here 1 through 6, and I'm going to put frequency as my label. Then I'm going to draw bars to match those frequencies. So we have a frequency of 2 for our first interval. So that's going to be here. Then from 65 to 69, that was all the way up to 6. And it's okay if your bars are kind of wavy. Then from 70 to 74, we had 6 again, so I'm just going to connect my next one in, because remember, we don't want spaces. 75 to 79 was 4, and then from 80 to 84 was 2. We can also use a line plot. A line plot is another way of representing data, and each X represents a response to our question or a survey or our data point. So this X is a student who read 0 books. We can label that 0 books, whereas this X is a student who read 8 books. And down here we can see that we have 1 who read 0, 2 who read 1, 1 who read 2. So we can use this to fill in our frequency table. So 0 to 2 would be anywhere from 0 to 2. We've got 4 there. From 3 to 5, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. From 6 to 8, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then from 9 to 11, we have 4. We can go ahead and fill in our cumulative frequency. So we start with 4, add 6, which is 10. Add 6, we get 16. And add 4, we get 20. So now we're going to go ahead and create our histogram. So I'm going to call this books read. We're going to fill in our intervals. So we have 0 to 2, 3 to 5, 6 to 8, and 9 to 11, and this is books. And then here we have 1 through 6 again, and these are our frequencies. So go ahead, pause the video, and draw in your histogram. Alright, so go ahead and check your work. From 0 to 2, that was 4, 3 to 5 and 6 to 8 were 6, and 9 to 11 was 4. We can also go backwards, given a histogram, to create a frequency table. So we have our histogram here that represents test scores. And the first thing that I need are my intervals. So I'm going to go ahead and fill those in, 61 to 70, 71 to 80, 81 to 90, and 91 to 100. Go ahead and pause the video and see if you can fill in each frequency. Alright, so from 61 to 70, that went up to 2. 71 to 80 went up to 5. 81 to 90 goes all the way up to 8. And 91 to 100 goes to 4. Now pause the video and try your cumulative frequencies. Alright, go ahead and see how you did. The most important thing to remember about histograms is your intervals, your frequencies, and that the bars must touch.